Hey, I'm Hannah Weiss, the Education Manager at the Science Museum of Western Virginia, and this is my sidekick, Isolde the whale shark, and this is your moment of STEM. And this week, we're going to talk about sleep, or more accurately, we're going to talk about what happens when you don't get enough sleep. You see, our summer camp season just wrapped up, and I love summer camp, but summer camp for me is 9 weeks of 6-day-a-week weeks that start really, really early and end really late. Add to that the fact that I live a fair distance from the museum and any social life that I might want to pretend to have. And all that together means that, well, let's just say sleep and I aren't usually on speaking terms. Adults, they need about 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. And when we don't get that sleep, when we don't get those 7 to 9 hours, we enter into what's called sleep debt. Basically, we owe sleep. And the consequences or the results of not getting enough sleep, they can start pretty quickly. Missing even an hour of sleep a week or a night can result in things like foggy or fuzzy-headedness and some memory difficulty, some poor focus or a poor attention, kind of all the things you associate with, well, not getting enough sleep. They're not great, but easily solved by reaching for some caffeine. Of course, as sleep debt increases, the consequences get a little scarier. We can end up with things like real memory difficulties, poor focus, poor decisions, and scariest of all, increased cortisol levels. Now, cortisol, that's a hormone that we use to regulate a lot of things in our body. For example, our blood sugar and metabolism, and even reducing inflammation. These are all things that are controlled by cortisol. When our cortisol increases, we can end up with high blood pressure, muscle weakness, incredible fatigue, poor sleep. So not sleeping can lead to more not sleeping, and a few other truly scary effects. So where does that leave me? I've kind of missing out on some sleep here. Is there a way that I can recover? Kind of. There's a way that I can maybe recover some. You see, sleep loss can really be split up into two groups. Short-term sleep loss, or sleep that you've missed kind of in a week, and long-term or chronic sleep loss. Short-term sleep loss is something that it's fairly easy to recover from. If you begin to add in or make up those hours, like an hour or two extra a night, you can make up some of that sleep loss. Longer-term or chronic sleep loss is a little more complicated to make up from. Most researchers agree that one of the first and best things you can do to begin making up for that is just to acknowledge that sleep is actually something your body needs. It's a need. It's not a luxury. And once you acknowledge that, also making sure that you make up for short-term sleep loss, sleep that you've kind of missed in a shorter term period. After that, researchers begin to disagree on kind of the best course to take. Some say that you should clear like a week or a little over a week and create a time during which you're just relaxing. You don't have any requirements on you and you have the time to sleep as much as you'd like, up to about like 10 hours a night. Turns out that too much sleep is also not great for us. Other researchers suggest that what you really, really need to do is establish a routine. Make sure that you're waking up and going to bed at the same time throughout the week. And on the weekends, maybe adding in some naps. A lot of researchers think that if you're doing this, you can avoid some of the nastier effects that happen when we play with our sleep schedule. Stuff like sleep hangover, which you might be familiar with if you've ever been really, really tired on a Monday morning. Some of the scarier effects of sleep loss, though, include things like increased inflammation, which can lead to stuff like a higher risk for heart disease or diabetes or cancer. And some studies even suggest that the less you sleep, the less able you are to tell how tired you are. So, before you go ahead and pull that all-nighter, it might be a good idea to really sit back and think. Are you really going to benefit from staying up and studying? Or will going to bed at a reasonable time and waking up refreshed do better things for your grade? I'm Hannah Weiss from the Science Museum of Western Virginia, and I'm going to take a nap.